Because you cheer against Trump so hard, it's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump. Because you want him not to be successful so bad, you have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes.
Just a few minutes ago, Pete Hegseth had an epic meltdown, freak out, whine session before the media in a press conference, demanding that they propagandize, demanding that they talk about how special the United States is. Because to these idiot conservatives, these Republicans, these MAGA morons, unless you're heaping obsequious praise uncritically on the United States, you're not patriotic. To them, any criticism, any pointing out of the areas that we have to improve is not patriotic. You have to just stick your head in the sand and ignore that we enslaved and systematically abused and raped and tortured and murdered black people for centuries as slaves. That's not a patriotic. You're going to make little white children feel bad. What? And Pete Hegseth flipped out on the press, demanding that they even calling out Fox News. You're not doing a good enough job of being propagandists for this administration. Why not just say thank you? I mean, it's like a line from the Aaron Sorkin movie that A Few Good Men with Jack Nicholson. You know, you luxuriate under the blanket of freedom that I provide. I would be happy if you just said thank you and went on your way, or whatever he says in the courtroom scene. Brilliantly written by Aaron Sorkin. I'm a sucker for that stuff. But this is ultimately what Pete Hegseth is asking. And then, after I play the clip, we're going to go through just how special the United States is. You'll see what I mean when I get there. Watch this from just boot-licking sycophant. He just loves, his knees are super sore from just worshiping at the throne of Donald Trump or whatever he does down there when he's on his knees. Watch this.
Because you, and I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard, it's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump. Because you want him not to be successful so bad, you have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective. Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented them isn't true. So let's take half-truths, spun information, leaked information, and then spin it. Spin it in every way we can to try to cause doubt and manipulate the public mind over whether or not our brave pilots were successful. How many stories have been written about how hard it is to, I don't know, fly a plane for 36 hours? Has MSNBC done that story? Has Fox? Have we done the story how hard that is? Have we done it 2 or 3 times so that American people understand? How about how difficult it is to shoot a drone from an F-15 or 16 or F-22 or F-35? Or what it's like to man a Patriot battery? Or how hard it is to refuel midair, giving the American people an understanding of how complex and sophisticated this mission really was. There are so many aspects of what our brave men and women did that, because of the hatred of this press corps, are undermined because your people are trying to leak and spin that it wasn't successful. It's irresponsible. And folks in this room are privy to that information because of the proximity here in the Pentagon. It's an important responsibility. And time again, classified information is leaked or peddled for political purposes to try to make the president look bad. And what's really happening is you're undermining the success of incredible B-2 pilots and incredible F-35 pilots and incredible refuelers and incredible air defenders who accomplished their mission, set back a nuclear program in ways that other presidents would have dreamed. How about we celebrate that? How about we talk about how special America is, that only we have these capabilities? I think it's too much to ask, unfortunately, for the fake news. So we're used to that. But we also have an opportunity to stand at the podium and read the truth of what's really happening. And the reality is, you want to call it destroyed, you want to call it defeated, you want to call it obliterated, choose your word. This was an historically successful attack, and we should celebrate it as Americans. And it gives us a chance to have peace, chance to have a deal, and an opportunity to prevent a nuclear Iran, which is something President Trump talked about for 20 years, and no other presidents had the courage to actually do.
Two things, and you might want to rewind to watch it at the beginning of that clip. I forgot to mention it to bring it to your attention to watch. He's reading a prepared statement. This isn't an off-the-cuff rant. This was planned. They sat in the Pentagon last night. He may have been at the White House, and like, how can we really ramp this up? What can we say? Well, what you need to do is support the president. What you need to do is be a bootlicker. What you need to do is get down there and just lather it up. He's looking down at his notes as he's recalling what was planned to be said. Secondly, and I got a third point. Secondly, hate for Trump in your DNA. You cheer against Donald Trump in your blood. It's in your blood and your DNA. More of this blood and soil talk from these Nazi fucks, right? Yes. I don't know about the rest of the media. I am not corporate media. I am independent, but I hate fascism. I'm not embarrassed to say that. I hate white supremacy. I hate sexual predators. So if that's in my DNA and that's an accusation that I'm supposed to be ashamed of, you're not going to catch me being ashamed or afraid to say I hate those things. It is in my blood. And all those things represent Donald Trump. Donald Trump represents all those things. They are one and the same. I hate people who violate their oaths to the Constitution of the United States. Hate it. And if that represents Donald Trump, then yeah, count me in, brother. Count me in. Now, as far as this charge, this demand that how about we talk about how special America is? Let's do it, Pete. Let's get down to business, brother. America is so special, we're ranked 28th of 37 in mathematics. America is so special, Pete Hegseth, that we have the highest maternal mortality rate of developed nations. So high, in fact, and it gets down to business relative to Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth's white supremacy, 22.3 deaths from mothers in and around childbirth per 100,000. Norway is 0. Switzerland, 1.2. 1.2 mothers die out of 100,000 related to childbirth. And we're at 22 times that amount. And for black women in the United States, it's nearly 50. We lose nearly 50 black mothers in childbirth per 100,000. 50. Switzerland, again, 1.2. That's not concerning to Donald Trump or Pete Hegseth because they hate black people. They hate black mothers because they want fewer black people here. So when you can stop having black mothers live, they will not continue to have children. All of this talk about birth rates being low. Why are we not changing this? This makes us pretty special. We're special on a global stage, Pete Hegseth. We rank 33 of 38 in infant mortality. Again, what's this all about? Family values party. We rank 3 of 38 infant mortality. Moving along on how special the United States is, we spend more on healthcare than any other OECD country. Any other one. In fact, almost 4 times higher than just the average. We're in special territory, Pete Hegseth. We're 32 of 38 of OECD countries for life expectancy at birth. Just below Colombia, our life expectancy. Ooh, Pete Hegseth, can you smell how special we are right now? Can you taste the specialness of America? See, and by the way, this is all criticism that we could rectify this. We could change these outcomes. But instead, we're giving Pete Hegseth $1 trillion a year for his department. Per year, $1,000 billion a year. We could eradicate poverty in the United States in a single year with one Pentagon budget. And we choose not to. It's a choice. When I say that Budgets are moral documents. I talked to Elizabeth Warren yesterday on the Hill, and she talked about it that a budget is a statement of values. It tells you what we prioritize, what we value. And obviously these things we don't value. It makes us special, says Pete Hegseth. Last one, U.S. investment in childhood, early education, and care. We're 31 of 38. Special. And he demands it. Pete Hegseth demands that you know. Why are the press not talking about how special America is? How exceptional America is? Because you know what United States is number one in? Defense spending. Military spending. During peacetime. We're not at war right now. I mean, we just bombed Iran, but hopefully that's not a lengthy campaign. That's just a one and done, right? Hopefully. You know, MAGA, America First, all that stuff, right? We're number one in that. So take heart, Pete Hegseth. You're special in that way. What do you think? I would appreciate your feedback here. You can comment below. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. Is it in your blood and your DNA to love or to hate the things I mentioned? Up to and including, I guess, Donald Trump. A lot of people feel squeamish about saying I hate another person. But look, there are some people worthy of hatred. Think of all the lives that Donald Trump will oversee the end of. And I'm talking about Americans. Anyway, I'll see you next time. I appreciate you very much. Follow me on social media if you're around. I talked in a couple other videos about watching a video from Garrison Hayes, a creator on the rise on YouTube, doing great work. He actually got an opportunity to sit down with President Obama for an uplifting message that I think you should check out. I'll link it below. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.